shadow, it is more than I thought could exist.
Shots were fired, from which upper window we do not know. We do not and cannot confirm the reports at this time that the president has been shot. One witness says he definitely was shot, that he was hit twice, that he saw the president slump in his seat.
The President of the United States is dead.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917 in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. He grew up in a large family with 8 siblings. In his later years, John F. Kennedy attended Harvard and later enlisted in the Navy during World War II and became Lieutenant Kennedy.
At the time, I remember my mother crying. I remember it was very cold, a clear day, and I couldn't understand why she was watching TV so much and so upset.
I was in Travis Junior High in the 8th grade. We were at lunch and the principal came on and said that President Kennedy had been shot. Then by the time we got to our classrooms, he came back on the speaker and told us that President Kennedy was dead.
After his father became the ambassador to England, John F. Kennedy took interest in political and world affairs. In 1946, he joined Congress and served 3 terms in the United States House of Representatives. He was then elected into Senate in 1952. In 1961 as the 35th President of the United States, and became the youngest president to be elected at the time. November 22, 1963, John F. Kennedy stepped off a plane in Dallas, Texas. This was one of the many stops a part of John F. Kennedy's re-election tour. Around 12:30 p.m., the car turned off Main Street at Dealey Plaza. As he passed the Texas School Book Depository, shots were heard. John F. Kennedy was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson was then sworn into office as president on Air Force One. Around 2 o'clock, police arrested Lee Harvey Oswald for the murder of John F. Kennedy and shooting of a local on-duty officer. Oswald was then shot and killed on live television by Jack Ruby. Surrounding the assassination of John F. Kennedy, press have concluded many conspiracies, including ones about the Soviets, Lyndon B. Johnson, the Mafia, and 2 supposed shooters.
People hear different numbers of shots depending on which witnesses you speak to.
There are people that believe it could have been hitmen from Cuba or Russia or the former Soviet Union, but I don't believe any of that. I just believe it is Oswald acted alone.
I know that there are conspiracies out there about him, whether or not he was killed by some CIA operative or killed by some Russian communist.
I know there's all kinds of conspiracies, but I don't know if they're true or not.
Many people suspected a mob to be angry with his brother Robert Kennedy, an attorney general who cracked down on organized crime. Conspiracies claim Fidel Castro attempted revenge after Kennedy went after him.
That's missiles in Cuba add to an already clear and present danger.
After the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, the Soviets had a strong dislike towards John F. Kennedy, and Oswald, an ex-Marine, is believed to try to defect the Soviet attack.
The president slain was inspired by forces opposed to President Kennedy's policy of improving relations with the Soviet.
With our backs to the wall, the darkness will fall. We never quite thought we could.
The possibility of another shooter has also been presented. A shooter was possibly hiding on the grassy knoll behind a picket fence to the right of John F. Kennedy. Oswald could have fired first and the second shooter next.
It is not accidental that it took place in the southern states, which are well known as a stronghold of racist and other fascist scum.
The world will never know the true facts of what occurred, my motives.
John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson had many political differences and personal issues. Some argue that Lyndon B. Johnson was motivated by political gain to organize the assassination.
President Kennedy, out of love for Kennedy, out of political motives?
I don't think he loved Kennedy that much.
That would seem to indicate that you don't have full confidence in the Warren Commission report.
No, I think the Warren Commission study, and I think first of all, is composed of the ablest, most judicious, bipartisan men in this country.
He was a great man. That was one of the worst days that I remember in history. Of course, there's other things that's happened since then, but that was one of the worst.
As a person of interest in history, I do know that I like his writings. He wrote a pretty comprehensive series on American history, a series of books.
A great president, first Catholic president. We needed him. He was a very, very strong president. I would like to have seen him serve out a second term. It would have been nice.
John F. Kennedy is a man who served in our military and served in offices. He comes from a bootlegger where his family made all their money. So I look towards that slightly differently than some people probably. I think he was doing some pretty solid things. I think he did a good job during the Cuban Missile Crisis of keeping us out of nuclear war when people wanted to fight. And I think between that and the Bay of Pigs, he developed a lot of high-ranking, serious enemies that only feed into the conspiracy theories.
Some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold, but you will remember me.
Can you please state your name and occupation?
Coach Thomas, U.S. government teacher and soccer coach.
Cameron, you want me to look at?
Look at her.
Oh my goodness.
That's weird. Oh, you're okay. Can you please state your name and occupation?
Chris Stegman, Educator of America.
What do you know about the JFK assassination?
You probably want a more specific question than that.
It's just general. Like, in general, what do you know? Like, what do you think happened?
You probably want a more specific question than that.
Well, you know, we've already asked other people, and they've answered perfectly fine.
Lots of people do lots of things that are stupid.
Do you have any final thoughts on the JFK assassination?
Final thought. Who
Or
wrote
no,
those
John F.
questions?
Kennedy.
What class is this?
Okay, what conspiracy?
What class is this?
English.
Okay, who wrote your questions?
She did.
Oh no, you
I
helped.
wrote one of them.
You helped. You helped half of them.
I did name and occupation.
At least that one has specificity. Yeah, if this was a journalism class, and I have a journalism degree, by the way, yeah, I would probably eject you.
There's a